Blog Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to Shadow Radio Wednesdays. I am your host, Justin of Shadow Chasers Investigations, and I am joined by my co-host, Wendy. Wendy, are you there?
I'm here, Justin.
Okay, how are you today?
Pretty good. Got all that silly yard work done and got Mom's computer hooked up so I can at least see the chat screen. So it's all going quite well.
Okay, so we got a very special guest tonight. Would you like to tell us about our guest?
Sure. Tonight we have Seth Michael McKay. He's with White Light Paranormal Insight. He is a psychic medium, spiritual advisor, and he's doing some really amazing work in the paranormal world. We'll talk about Seth and his team, the White Light Paranormal Insight, and the work they do. They do things like rescue, mediumship, spirit rescue. They work with spirit guides and a whole bunch of other stuff. I believe several of the other members are in the chat room, unless I'm mistaken. Seth is starting his own show later this month, Into the Light with Seth Michael, and he has a Facebook page up, and I'll try to get that. I'll try to get the link set up there, unless one of you all have it. Anyways, so introducing Seth Michael McKay.
Okay.
With clappers. I love it. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. So how are you today, Seth?
I'm doing great, and thanks for playing that intro. I'll also put it up on Facebook, the whole song. It's by a good friend of ours, Elsa Faith. So we appreciate her giving us permission for that.
You know, I got a chance to listen to some of her songs that I saw on YouTube, and they're actually really good. So go ahead and definitely check out her music on YouTube for sure.
Well, before we go further, too, we're going to be talking about my show, and the other exciting element is that it's for independent music, independent musicians. So during my breaks, I'll be able to play all different local or near far kind of independent musicians' songs that they've written themselves. So I'm really excited about that element, too.
Man, you know, I really like that. You know, it's just keep underground music or, you know, people that aren't signed, they got to get their music out somehow in some way. Yeah. And they do that through YouTube, and some people do very well on YouTube, but it's also very hard to get noticed on YouTube, kind of like it is, you know, to get noticed by like a record company. So it's really good that you do that.
Absolutely. Well, Scott Free FM is the one that's sponsoring my show or putting me on, and that's what they're about. They're for the people, by the people, and they're all stick by that. So I'm really excited about this project.
Well, that's really, really cool. Okay. So, Seth, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do as far as, like, your abilities and your paranormal group?
Sure. So the abilities, I'm huge in mostly the empath, and if I say anything, too, let me know if you think it's a good thing to explain further. So we can start with the empath, which is more about connecting with spirits or people in flesh, about maybe their personalities, certain emotions, certain things they've gone through, body ailments, maybe what they died from, in that sort of realm. Then, let's see, I don't even know where to start. It's such a long story.
Well, let's see.
You know, if you look at where you are now, and then you look all the way from the beginning, you could see so many different signs and paths that took you there. Mm-hmm. So mine, I'd say, would start all the way when I was really young and having a lot of emotional difficulties, even as a little kid, and also being able to see things no one else could see.
Right.
So way from there, right from that spot all the way up, this just totally seemed like I was groomed to do what I'm doing now, which is connecting with spirits, and usually find the ones that are mostly in distress, have difficulty with not being able to see outside of that. So that's where I usually gravitate, and it's more like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So when we're called in, and I'll go into it too more with our team, when we're called in, it's usually to help resolve an issue. There's something really intense going on, and they would like to get to the bottom of it if possible. So we would connect with those spirits, find out what the issue is, and then help them clear that up. Because it could be just a mission, that there's something they didn't get to finish, or they're afraid of going to hell, or whatever it is. I usually just, so it's called Earth. Let me know if I'm jumping around too quick. Earthbound.
You're doing
Earthbound,
great. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So Earthbound spirit is a term that defines a spirit that passed on that is still tied to the earth, say an emotion, idea, mission. And so when that is addressed or validated, they usually are able to let go, and then they can see basically an exit door, which is what a lot of people call the light. And then they can make that choice. Otherwise, without being able to see outside of it, it's not so much a choice.
That's you know what, I was looking, I think I was reading something about you earlier, and I read something about rescue. It's what, Wendy, do you know what I'm talking
rescue?
about? Spirit
yeah,
rescue.
Spirit
is that
rescue?
pretty much right? Okay,
yes,
so
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, so that's it. All right, so then
that's a spiritualist term to describe that, about connecting with the spirit and letting them know they have a choice, walking them through that. Actually, we even have a couple of clips that I sent Justin that I hear a lot of people talk, well, not many. I'm hoping to hear more as we go along in life, but I hear people talk about spirit rescue, but I have not heard of anyone playing a clip or showing exactly what it's like. So that would be cool to be able to do that tonight.
Actually, you know what? Since we already brought it up, I'm going to go ahead and play them right now.
Okay, I want to give a setup though.
Oh, okay. You need to get it set up yet?
Yeah, as far as I just want to tell the audience a little bit of why this is happening and what's going on.
Okay. All right. So you need to know which one I'm going to play first, which would be I think I'll play the little boy one.
Okay, which is cool because I've been on a lot of shows, but I haven't really been able to get into the stories of the cases. And when I talk about the cases, we've gotten permission to talk about the actual experiences, but we'll never disclose location or names, so I just want to make sure that's out there. And there's nothing, there is a name mentioned of a spirit in this one named Don. So he was, and that I've gotten permission to say that. So he supposedly was the man that lived there. And it all started with, there were, see if I remember, doors opening and closing, things are being moved around. They noticed pots and pans, say, was in a special place, and then the next day they were somewhere else, for example. And the thing that made it an urgent case was that one of the children that lived there was pointing up in the corner of a ceiling almost every night and screaming, really afraid. So that we usually classify as urgent. So we go over there, and I get a lot of pre-impressions. Usually when all I have to know is there's a case, and I'll start feeling the entities or seeing the images. So I remember seeing a man, and I saw a lot of alcohol bottles, empty. Mm-hmm. And also very angry. That was the first one.
Like a mean drunk?
Yeah, but just angry in life.
Okay.
Just the whole overall sense. He was very bitter, resentful. And now that was like a secondary emotion, because when I got to the primary, as I got deeper connecting with him, it was a lot of sadness. It was a lot of loneliness. Seemed like he had a lot of trouble in life in his past. So I was telling the client this, and she had said, when we moved in, we found a lot of alcohol bottles buried throughout the property, and he was also into a lot of porn. So that also gave, because that's another reason that sometimes people seem to take their addictions with them. So they're still acting out, they're still escaping in the afterlife. So, yeah. So
Wait. So does that mean that ghosts are like drinking like ghost alcohol or something? Or what they think is alcohol?
State of mind.
Just the state of mind?
Yes,
okay.
It's the consciousness that they brought with them.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify if it was like a physical or just mental state of the spirit in question.
Yeah, that's a good one to clarify. Also, I remember connecting, there was a little boy, and I remember a lady, and there was another man. We were able to, I think the client had, we have the records, but verified that there was because this guy I saw was chopping wood, and I kept getting like hand, and she believes there was a hired hand that used to work there.
Okay.
So we got all this, all these elements. So we go in there and we do the investigation. The investigators do that. I just sat back and waited for a little while, and which is a little difficult because they really want to talk. They really want to connect, and there was a lot of different things going on at once with him. So Don, he didn't like any other spirit there, and he actually didn't want anybody there. He wanted just you and all the yahoos got to get out of here, basically, is what he was saying.
Right.
He didn't like anyone there, anyone living there that was in his space. So obviously he didn't realize the extent of what was going on.
Right.
So I really had to walk him through that. The first one, though, that we connected with was a little boy. The little boy. Okay, so what I'm about to tell you and show you, too, I don't recommend for every case. In fact, I've been doing this for 20 years. This is the only time I've ever felt like I needed to do this. So we're talking to the little boy, and I'm trying. So several times the light would open, right, as we're connecting with spirit, and a relative would walk through. So I was wondering, the first question I had was like, "Where's your mom?" And I related to my spirit guide, and I said, "You got any idea here?" And he said, "Yeah, she passed on, and she's earthbound, but she was in a different location. Had no idea where." So I was talking to him, and then asked my spirit guide, "Well, let's get her." So if it's in the greatest good, that's the contract sort of I have with my guides. If I ask you for something, and if it's in the greatest good, and this is a selfless request, then I know it's okay, kind of thing, and I let them be the judge of that. I'm asking this, and if it's in the greatest good, could you please do this? Mm-hmm. So sure enough, she came over, so we can show that clip then.
Okay, I'll go ahead and play that now.
Okay. She's here. Do they see each other? I'm hearing, "Where have you been?"
I feel happy tears.
Yeah.
I feel
Whoa.
really, like a sense of binding.
They just crossed. That's all they needed. Sweet.
I think they cry right away when that happened.
That's awesome feeling.
It makes me a little shaky right now.
I think I'll just hear God say, "Thank you, Jesus. Now get rid of the rest."
Oh, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. Now get rid of the rest.
Now get rid of the rest. I'm so glad you played it, too, because there's a lot of emphasis on EVPs. I love those EVPs. It's really cool confirmation, too, in a mediumistic view. However, I wanted the emphasis tonight on that to be about the actual crossing and what that's like for us in our experience. And for me, it's a full all-over body sensation. I can just be having a conversation, all of a sudden, boom, I feel it. And that's usually my overall reaction is like, whoa!
Right.
Kind of blown away.
Yes. So if it's okay, I want to explain a little bit more about what happened in the case.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So this one, let's see, then I addressed the man who was possibly the hired hand, and he really didn't want to go if the other guy wasn't going to go. I didn't prepare a clip for this, but it was kind of comparing who's got the bigger reason to stay.
Right.
Who's got the big, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that reason.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, that's what it started to feel like with those two. So, I finally was able to get the other guy into the understanding of, look, you know, I know you want to be protective of the family, but this guy is not going to go with a lot of different spirits here. And he finally decided, okay. And he let go of what he was hanging on to, and he crossed, which a lot of what I felt from him, if I remember correctly, was that he didn't want to leave the family like this. Now, so he crossed. Now, there was also a woman there. I saw her sort of colonial dressed, hair up in a bun. We didn't finish the research yet on all this yet, but so I'm just going with it. And the family had confirmed that they also had felt a woman. So I was talking to her, and she absolutely was not going to leave until this guy, this angry presence, had left. So we continued the night, and at one point I went into the bathroom, and I was washing my hands, and I felt this. Now, I'm a huge empath, so I feel a lot in my body. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I felt this, like, huge creepiness just come over me, and I look, and I see this image of, like, the creature of the Black Lagoon. And I kind of lost it for a second. I just kind of ran out like, holy shit, sorry.
Right.
So I ran out, and I'm like, investigators, get in there now. And they're like, okay. And they didn't even lie or anything. Yeah, they're going to have a lot to say on this. They usually do. So you didn't tell us what was in there. Well, you're investigators. Investigate. It was safe. I wasn't going to put them in danger or anything like that. It was just mostly the imaging and the feelings. It was nothing dangerous. But I had to say that because it's a very important element of the case. All right, so finally we addressed Don, and he had been, his life, when I was connecting with him and looking back, I couldn't find. Sometimes you can take the spirit back to a place of love, maybe to the mom from very young, or the dad, or some sort of event that happened that they felt happy in. He had nothing. There were memories, but they were not pleasant. So it was really difficult. Yeah. So then I started to try to take him back to a way past life. So we did that. So it's kind of like giving the spirits readings. So I can't remember what it was. And I took logic with him. Well, logically, you're no longer on the deed. You really don't have a right to be here legally, because I could feel he also had a lot of logic thinking. So I talked him through that, and then I let him know, you passed on. Do you realize that your body stopped working, but you're living on, and these are your choices? And so it took a while, and I think it was like an hour, and I was getting really hungry, and I said, and I need you to know this, but we're all here, and we're all starting to get hungry. And for you, the time is different, but we need to, the family is not comfortable here. I just tell them like it is. So, but I wasn't gonna, shoo him out. We were talking, and finally he did decide to cross. So here's the thing: when he went, this is in my experience that his personality of the addictions, that part stayed behind. So it was like a fractured. I think that fraction was in the form of an image of the Black Lagoon thing. That's just in my experience. This is just what I feel 100% myself about. So, all right. So then we worked we talked on to the lady, and she wanted to make sure everything was okay and gone, and she wasn't going to unless everything was. And the family was totally fine with that. They're like, yes, we just didn't want the kid to be afraid. And the thing, that made him most afraid, I think we got under control. So we left, and I heard back, and they said that there were still some creepy feelings going on. And what I felt was that it wasn't an actual entity so much. It was that energy that was creating its own entity, sort of, from all the addictions and the pain and the anger. Everything kind of created itself. So I kept going over with her too about how to push it out. And start just filling that whole house with love and compassion, sort of like a transformation of it, which I just Yeah. Not too long. I think it was only a day, and she let me know it felt much better because I kept from home. I kept imaging, all this light just pushing everything negative out and just refilling itself with comfortability and peace. And then also what we do is, if the client requests, we do a lot of sealing imagery so that the whole house would be sealed, and sometimes we can imagine it nearly invisible. Not nearly, invisible to any other earthbounds. If the family just wants the ones that are already crossed, and that's our request, that's what we do. So I'm at home, and this is a couple days later, I'm outside, and all of a sudden I see a familiar spirit. Same energy as the woman. I said, "Oh, hi." And she said, "Hi, I can't get back in." Basically, she was locked out.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, well, yeah, because they requested, they said you could stay, but they don't want new coming in. And I said, this is the way you could go back in because they said you're welcome to. And what about your family? Don't you miss your family? Do you want to see them? So we talked about that, and she and I felt her cross. So it was a really beautiful case. Yeah, I think all the cases are beautiful. There are just some that I'll never, ever forget, like forefront of my mind, and that's one of them.
Oh, that's a very nice one.
Yeah.
Man, that's just so funny. You run out and just yell, "Go get 'em!" Like that so reminds me of the Ghostbusters. Like when they're getting ready to the library and go get 'em. Yeah.
Dude, run!
And we are so not like that. We are so not Ghostbusters. We're like totally opposite.
I know. It's just the way you said that. It just totally reminded me of that.
Well, yeah, go investigate. Well, that's what they were there for. That's their role, is to get evidence. Well, there's something creepy there. Go get evidence.
Did you tell him it was the creature from the Black Lagoon?
No, and I'm sure Kristen's in the chat room talking about it now.
Oh, she wants a proton pack.
Yeah.
Love that one.
But I want to reiterate, I felt it was safe. It was just something that
right.
was really creepy, and this is what they want to do, being investigators. Okay. There you go. I don't know if they got any. Yeah. Go do your job.
All right, so Seth, what do we got? What do you want to tell us about this second clip that we're going to play tonight? This also, we have a lot of cases that are multiple entities. So in this one, we had a guy, I didn't have this one in the clip I gave you, but outside of this room, a master bedroom, there was a guy that was being pretty rude. He was saying a lot of swear words. He was obviously pretty angry, but not to the extent of, say, the other one I was describing as. This was more out of fear. Well, I could say, I guess the other one had an element of fear too, but this was just a little bit different. So we were, for some reason, he said he could not go into the master bedroom, which was a positive thing, because this woman, as I was connecting spirit, when I was connecting with her, I felt something had happened that had to do with a male. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like she had been hurt several times from a male. Oh. So I was connecting with her, and I was seeing images of her grandmother coming through. Mm-hmm. The thing with, as far, now, I got to tell you, so everything I'm saying tonight is just my experience, my beliefs. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm ever sound like matter of fact, it's mine. It's just what I experienced. So here is, for example, she was coming through, but the lady could not see her because she was so deep in her own discomfort and her own conscious. Can't think of the word, but it's kind of like being in a prison in a way. From what I experienced with her, she couldn't see outside of it.
Oh wow, her own prison, basically.
Basically, yeah, that's what a lot of them seem to create for themselves, based on their consciousness they brought with them. Even mental illness, I found, is still there and prevalent at times with some of them, and I got plenty of examples of that too. So back on this one, she did not know this man that was in the hallway, as far as I know. She was totally aware that there were people living there, and she actually said that she liked the woman that was there. She felt that was her friend. So, and Kristen asked, "Is this someone you know? Did she know you when you were alive?" And she said, I forgot what she said, but it was something to the effect that I don't think that was. It's just there. And when I connected with this woman, it sort of felt like she was in a dream state. So it was a little bit of confusion as well. So let's see. I was talking to her. I can't remember where I started the clip. But this was funny too, because when I was connecting with her and I said, "Hey, I can see you playing. You played with your player piano with your grandmother," and she goes, "How did you know that?" I said, "I don't know." And then she goes, "What song?" She said, "What song?" And I go, "This is interesting. The spirit was, testing me on my psychic abilities." I said, "I don't know." I don't. And Kristen said, "We'll explain how you can see her," because this had been after I already asked. Do you know you passed on? I always say it as gentle as possible, because if they don't, it's kind of a shock.
So basically, the spirit was testing your psychic abilities because it couldn't believe that you were psychic.
That's what it felt like to me. Yeah.
I've never heard that before, ever.
Oh, in one of the readings I had, I'll never forget this. I was giving a person a reading. I was giving him all this evidence for this grandfather. I mean, to the T, everything was like, yes, yes, yes. And then he looked at me and he said, "I don't believe in psychics." I was thinking, it's a good thing I believe in ghosts, or we wouldn't be having this conversation. Or spirits.
Right. Exactly.
That's the strangest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And I have heard some pretty weird stuff.
I really don't think I can make this stuff up. I'm not that brilliant.
All right, well, check it out.
That's one sign that this is real.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and play this really quick here.
So we want you to be able to go and not be left here when she leaves.
She'll be very, very happy to know that you moved on, because she wants that for you. Tell her I love her. Like a friend? Yes, silly, she giggled.
Come on.
What are you thinking, Seth? Everything's okay. She's going to go. I didn't mean to do it. I know. Goodbye. Okay, look at the Empath thing.
I know.
I wonder if I just need more batteries.
I don't know.
I got them. I can switch them.
It's kind of interesting. You said goodbye and it quit. Yeah. It's not at all.
She went.
Jeez, you scared me, guy. What are you doing?
It's an incredible feeling. I mean, it just hit you. I'm sorry. That was Kristen and Tracy. It would be cool if we had time and they're interested and you're interested, they can call in, because it's really cool too hearing it from an investigator's perspective working with mediums. Mm-hmm. Most of the teams I find, if they work with mediums, it's one, and we have a total of 4 right now. So it's kind of and actually we have less investigators right now. So it's kind of a flip to what usually happens out there in the field.
Right.
And for investigators, they didn't exactly know everything that was entailed in our end, and I didn't know anything about equipment. When I heard my first EVP, I'm like, whoa! It was so amazing. It's like, wow. I knew it wasn't just in my head. I knew I wasn't crazy from all the, years and years of, oh, wow, like getting confirmations and finding out facts that were exactly what I had gotten. But then to actually hear it outside of my head like that was pretty wild the first time. So it's a really cool blend, really cool balance.
Definitely cool.
And to hear it from their perspective is cool. So if you're open to it at some point, tonight?
Yeah, if they want, they can call. Anybody can call in. People listening in, you can call in. You can ask questions. I'm not sure, Seth. I think you said that you would be open to doing a couple readings tonight, weren't you?
Yeah. Let me just calm down a little bit because I'm still in excitement mode.
Right. That's
yeah,
all
I would love
fine.
to.
But yeah, anybody can call in at any time. I'm watching. So let's see. Right now, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for something else right now.
Oh, really? We don't have any. We don't. Sounds like we have no listeners.
Oh, everybody loves Shadow Radio Wednesdays. We get crickets every week.
Yeah, hello, crickets.
They're my number one fan.
I also want to say, this flashed in my head to make known is that I have not, before myself, I have not known of any other mediums that in readings also help with crossing whenever everyone's okay with it. And I recently, you had her on the show last week, Morgan, who also does the same thing, which I was so happy to hear. I had a feeling. I knew she was good. I knew she was awesome. But I mean, this was even more, like, whoa! Because I would love to hear more of people doing that, or that are willing to do that, the ones that are interested and feel like their path and purpose is spirit rescue, lack of a better term, that there are more also with individuals. Because someone will come in with, say, Aunt Susie and Uncle Denny, and they're giving off all these, heavy feelings that the people are actually feeling.
Okay,
that's
guys.
Usually.
Sorry, we do have a caller right quick.
Awesome.
We have a caller, area code 503. You're on the air.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, you're on the air.
How you doing?
Hi, Seth. This is Julie. I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, hey.
Hi, Julie. Thanks for calling in.
I just wanted to touch base. Seth had actually come and he and his paranormal team had come and did an investigation at my house, and just wanted to give him a quick update.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
They did an investigation and a resolve, and a very good friend of Charlene's who was unaware of the investigation or of the resolve posted something today on Facebook regarding a dream that he had where she said goodbye to him after the resolve, and she kissed him on the cheek and told him that she loves him and said goodbye, and he hasn't had any contact or feeling of her being around since then.
Do you want to? Were you okay with telling them who Charlene is?
Yes, absolutely. Charlene was my daughter, and she had committed suicide.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Are you willing to tell them what else happened after that in the apartment? Like why?
Oh, absolutely. One of the reasons why I had Seth and his team come in was because I wound up, the grief of dealing with my daughter's suicide had resulted in the breakup of my relationship, and I wound up in an apartment, and I didn't realize when I had moved in that the apartment that I had lived in was the site of a murder-suicide, and that had happened almost 3 years ago. It would be 3 years in July that the murder-suicide had happened, and the death was the same as my daughter's suicide, which was a single self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. And when I moved in, there was a number of strange occurrences that were happening. So Seth had come recommended by a friend of mine, and so I had called him and did the investigation and did the resolve. And the reason why I'm calling today not only is to give Seth an update, but also to let him know that this has happened with a very good friend of hers, and since we did the resolve, he had this dream about her saying goodbye again, and he feels like he's losing her all over again.
Oh, no.
And I'm just wondering, and I'm okay with that because I know that she's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't reached out to him and let him know that this is what happened.
I think it might be. I think it might be important for him to know that one piece of her said goodbye, the one that was in pain, not the entire her. So now she, and I'm trying to feel, because I believe she's already come back. And I'm trying to get evidence for you here quick. Let's see. All right now, as I can say, is that I'm feeling a lot more peace than I did when I connected with her last time.
Me too.
So I believe she's already there. She's just more her than she's ever been able to in her entire life on Earth.
So what can I say to her friend to bring some peace to him, because he feels like he's going through a second dose of this grief process?
Well, this is the other thing that I'm feeling with him, is that he may have felt her and felt connected, but the connection was the pain. And so this is just going to feel different. It's not her entire consciousness gone. It's just that one element, that one part. Does that feel right to you?
Boy, I don't know. He and I have had, I love him like my own son. He was at one point a son of mine, a son-in-law, and I still consider him a son-in-law.
Okay.
And my concern for him is that he doesn't feel her presence. He doesn't feel her around. He used to feel her around before we did the resolve. And I want him to know that it's okay and that she's still ever present.
Yes. I want him to know that too. He would really, let's see, I'm trying to, so much is coming at once. It would be a matter of being open again too. How do I explain this?
But the reason why I have been avoiding speaking with him is because we have had a very frank debate about my particular perspective on gun control. And he is a gun owner. And I'm trying to self-protect.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. Let's see. And you haven't told him what we did, he said?
No, he has no idea. I haven't spoken to him since before we did the resolve in the investigation.
I just have this feeling he is going to feel her again at some point. Sometimes it does take a little time for them to come back to certain people. They're doing what they got to do, and sometimes it's just pieces of them. I really do believe he's going to feel her again, and it may be something real subtle. But if he's going to be open enough, he'll be able to feel her.
I hope so.
It's just a different level of it.
That has been my experience since we did the resolve.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's more the entirety of her personality than anyone really even got to feel, because she was having so much turmoil in her life. So this is finally
again.
Oh wow, that is awesome. See, this is the proof is in the pudding. It's incredible how the different feelings do come about when they cross. It's so much more peaceful for everybody, not just them, but anybody who's connected with them. But for him, I'm really, really trying to articulate this. I'm having a difficult time, because what I'm feeling from him is part of that tie was exactly to who and how she used to be. So when she's changing, it's not going to be familiar feeling, because she's not that way anymore. So this is going to be something he's just going to need to probably just process on his own. Is that, you know what I'm saying?
So should I not say anything?
Well, I think the best thing to do is to do what you're feeling is the most right thing to do. So if you don't know yet, I would just wait until you're sure. Until you just, okay. You know,
well, and it's kind of breaking my heart because he's reaching out on Facebook and I haven't haven't reached back.
Well, so one option is to definitely let him know, hey, I saw your post, and this is what, from my end, happened, and this is my experience, and it's possible that she's just different now, and that maybe we're just not used to her energy the way it was, because she's a lot more high vibrational, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's like getting to know her all over again, in a way.
I feel a tremendous sense of peace compared to that feeling that I had when I first moved in here, that intense despair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, tons of it. There was tons of it in that apartment.
It was thick.
Yeah, it was very thick. Wow. I'm so glad you called.
Yeah, I am too. I've been meaning to reach out and just reconnect and kind of give you an update on how things have been going. I'm finally starting to feel like it's home here.
Good. Very good. Yeah, because at one point you weren't sure if you were going to have to move or not.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like your daughter. I think she's awesome. She's funny. She was feisty. She was swearing at me for first, and this is the only time that I can remember getting the genders off, because when I went in there, I felt male, and it really tripped me up when I was describing, and I thought it was the guy, and I started describing. I got the color red. I got all this stuff that Julie was saying. Yeah, no, you know what? That's my daughter.
And she was tough, and she could bounce guys bigger than you out of a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely had a masculine side. She was she loved being feminine, and if you messed with her, she would show you how manly she could be.
And I think that might have been the energy she was putting forth, because here's this strange man coming into her mom's house. So of course she's gonna, have that forward energy to say, hey, I'm here, and I can throw you out if I need to.
Kind of like a woman version of the Hulk.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Little thing though. She was little.
Absolutely.
But,
and if you were to compare us, I don't have any tattoos. I'm really you can put me in any environment and I can get along, but you can't put Charlene in any environment and not have her go, wow, okay. So she would fit in well with this crowd, and she would scare the hell out of this crowd.
That sounds cool.
And she definitely spoke her mind. She was very outspoken and had a laugh that could just light up a room, and she was very much her own personality, And I just miss her every single day.
Aw, I'll bet.
Yeah.
I'll bet you do. Sorry for that loss. Gosh darn it.
Yeah.
I'm
that
blessed
was
to
a
have
rough
had her
one.
for the 27 years that I did.
On many levels, that was a rough one for me. But I think for all of us, especially the investigators, they have their own children,
Yeah.
And you're...
Some more than others could really relate.
Yeah. I know when my mom was about to pass away, and I said, Mom, how did you get over your parents dying? She goes, well, you never get over it. You just keep going on.
Exactly. You just learn to function in your new way of being in the world. There's a new normal that happens.
Yeah. Because people say, oh, it'll get better. But no, it doesn't get better. It gets different, but not better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my personal feeling from losing people, even though I can see them on that side. It's not exactly the same, I still have human parts, of course. So yes, it does. It's very difficult on those levels.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
And I don't want to take up all of your airtime. I just wanted to give you a really quick call and just say, hey.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I would use your gut.
I saw you last.
Yeah, thank you very much for calling in, for sure.
You got a really powerful gut. I would use that to know when, how, and everything, how you would, express this to him.
Well, and I will reach out to him only because I hate to feel like he is, not only because, but mostly because I don't want to feel like he is feeling like I have abandoned him or like I'm angry with him, because I'm not. I just need to self-protect from his perspective of needing to own a gun for protection, because nobody needs to own a gun for their protection. You know, unless you're a police officer in the military.
I don't think anyone would argue with that, knowing your history too. I mean, this is really harsh what happened, and it had to do with guns.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that perspective from you, for sure. And a lot of people do. A lot of people do understand that. I personally
I have never known anybody who has ever protected themselves from harm with a gun. But I know a lot of people who have been on the receiving end of tragedy because there was a gun in the house.
Good point. Well, thank you again so much for calling in. I was going to call you too and get an update, so this is perfect.
Well, and thank you for your work. I really appreciate it. It was a job well done.
You're
and
welcome.
Thank you for sharing with us on the air. Seriously, it just really shows, how psychics can help people and help people get peace of mind. You know.
Well, it's a part of my healing process as well. So.
Yeah.
It helps to talk about it. It helps to know that there's people out there that I can actually talk about it with.
Yeah. People do understand.
Oh, yeah. Some more than others.
Yep. I hear you.
Well, you take care.
You too.
Thank you for everything, and do keep in touch, okay?
Absolutely. Once part of the White Light family, always part of the White Light family.
Aw.
Blessings to you, Seth. Blessings.
You also. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. I love that, too. We do keep in contact with our clients. We have some
I appreciated the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
Me, too. That was great.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
so.
my team also, we keep in contact with our clients all the time. It really helps, you know.
Yes. Because you're in their house, too. You can't help but, form some sort of relationship with them and have, compassion. And it's a cool process that happens in teams with clients. I think every team I know actually does that. They'll reach out, they'll make sure there's updates, they'll make sure they're okay.
That's really good. The follow-up is important as well. Very important.
Yes. So, Justin, your team, do you work with? You do. I know the answer, but I want to ask you publicly. Do you work with mediums and psychics?
Yes. Well, my sister, she's sensitive to spirits. Recently, I have since Morgan was on the show, it was made publicly known that I am sensitive to spirits. I have talked with you, and we both established that I'm clairvoyant, but I don't really practice.
Empath, and among other things.
I just call myself
spirits.
I just call myself a spirit and just be done with it. But I don't really practice it. It just kind of happens, So. My sister, I've talked with other psychics that I've done some cases with, and so I think it's a great asset to have for sure.
Yes.
Seth, we had a question in the chat room. I believe it was Elaine that asked, what was the toughest investigation you've been on so far?
I think I'd have to say that the one that just called, because it pulled a lot of heartstrings, because
Sure.
it was a family member, and it was the same kind of thing that happened that the family member had done to take their own life. So I don't know, you can get much tougher than that. That was
I'd imagine not, or hope not.
Right. That was emotionally difficult.
Mm-hmm.
For me. Ask her what else does she mean emotionally, or what else. Elaine is from Whoopi, who is a team in the Pacific Northwest as well, and we worked with them on a case that was it was a cool case. So Elaine also, you might want to consider someday having her on your show. She talks about safety, investigators' safety and health.
Mm-hmm.
She's got pamphlets. She's working. Yeah.
Oh, she was saying she typed in emotionally.
Yeah, that would be It's a good question, Elaine.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Elaine.
Yeah.
And we will be getting with you to book you for the show sometime
Yay!
soon.
I know you don't like
We've
spiders,
just been having
but she's got
difficulties.
I know you don't like spiders, Wendy, but she has a great spider story.
Oh.
I hate. You know what? I hate spiders too. They freak me out. Hey, you know what, guys? Why don't we go into myth factor theory really quick, and we can talk about some myths or stereotypes associated with psychics.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Alrighty, myth factor.
I remember that song from Guitar Hero. I remember that.
Kirk Strong says he loves that song.
Let's see. You know what? Here's number one on our list. Psychic readers know everything about the person down to the color of their underwear they're wearing or what they had for breakfast. Is that a myth factor theory?
What do you think, Justin?
That is 100% a stereotype. That it's people think psychic and they think that's just how every psychic is. They can tell you absolutely every single little detail about your life, and that's not true.
I've had people feel very uncomfortable or avoid me at all costs too when they find the title that Seth does this. Because they're afraid of exposure.
I used to avoid psychics. I used to because I didn't want to know stuff, and I didn't want them to basically feel that I may have some of the same abilities that they have. So.
That makes sense. Yep, I agree with you with that.
Kristen says she made a good guess one time and freaked you out.
Yeah, so they were at this. Finding your psychic voice. I think that was the proper name. It's a class that one of our good friends, William Becker, teaches, and he was going through things with them. And I didn't make it to that weekend, so the investigators were there and a couple of our mediums. And she was learning. she was getting pretty. They call it woo woo. Her cousin calls it woo woo. So she was getting woo woo. Starting to relate with spirits and things, and then she made an announcement about, we were talking about remote viewing, and she said Seth doesn't wear boxers, and I was kind of in a rock and a hard place. It's like I want to give her validation, yeah, but stay out of my underwear drawer too at the same time. It's like, come on.
No doubt, yeah.
But I think it was a guess. And I was kidding William, and I texted him like, "What are you teaching these people?" He's like, "I never do that." I'm like, I know. So yeah.
Right. What about
in the chat room?
I hope it was a guess. I hope that was a guess, Kristen.
Let's talk about number 3 on our list. All readers are psychics. Is that a myth fact theory, or is that just a regular stereotype?
Well, it depends how you're defining psychics, because I would say yes. Well, I would say, that's a trick question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little slow, but I got it now. Slow on the uptake. Not the quickest tool in the shed. So, no. No, that's a myth.
Right.
What would you say?
Well, I mean, there are just different variations of psychics. So I think psychic's just a very, it's just a pretty wide term for,
Empaths and
different. Yeah.
Well, okay, this is where it's a little tricky for me, because I think everybody does have abilities. I think everybody is psychic, because we come from the same source. It's been proven. We can really go into that deep, but you pretty much know what I'm saying. So I think we all have something. I do know some that say that they are, but people have gone and cried because they were so far off. So some people claim to. However, they have not shown and I'm not saying they're not, and they might have just had an off day, but some some jump into the profession without a lot of ethics, or they'll tell people, oh, you got a curse and I'll remove it for $350 more. Things like that. So that's what I'm thinking of as like, too. Yeah, some people will say it, but I don't know if they're fully believing in themselves enough to have that connectivity, a spiritual connectivity with others, and doing it for that reason rather than $350 more.
Well, that's why I don't take any label. That's why I just call myself weird, because I mean sometimes I get stuff and sometimes I don't. So it's whatever.
The reason that
Elaine
I even had that. The reason why I even went there, I mean, I don't really like the word psychic. I wish there was a different one. I like spiritual advisor a lot. It is because, I mean, this has been like 20 years add up with stuff that there was no way I could guess at this stuff.
Right.
There has to be something for it with it to me, and I saw a lot of people come back and say, "You really helped me a lot." And I don't take the credit for that part, but I take the credit for that I allowed myself to be open and do what I was here to, I think, to do. That I'm allowing myself to go on that path, I'm allowing this information to come in.
So basically, you were like the middleman, right? So that's pretty much what it's like.
Yeah, that's medium. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one reason they call it medium. So that's why I use that, because it's a well-known term, and then it does, draw people in so that I can give it my best shot for them, and doing what they're seeking.
That's very nice. Very, very nice.
Okay. What about number 5? Oh, all right, go ahead, Wendy. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, Elaine had another question. She says, okay, everyone with psychic abilities get their information a bit differently. How does Seth get his? That's
a good question.
Elaine always has awesome questions. we call each other paranormal stalkers because we listen to the shows that we're on. We're there for each other safely. And she doesn't look in my underwear drawers, Kristen. So I would say I have pinpointed the area of my brain, I believe, and not everybody has. I've told other people, and they said, well, I don't really know where mine comes in. So, yeah, it is different for everybody. For me, it comes on the right side of my brain. So I've noticed that. Cool. Yeah. It'll come in images. Usually I get, but the empath part, that's in my body. That's usually through my solar plexus, which is in the belly area, and I'll just feel it like I'm having that emotion, or I'm having that ailment. I'll just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a heart attack, or I have cancer in my, wherever. So I'll just like see a spot, like pancreatic, or so it's really interesting how that happens. So I guess for me, either right side of the brain, the hearing I usually hear on my right side, right above my ear. I'll hear it in that person's voice, in that spirit's voice, which is wild because there was a EVP that the girls caught that was this woman that case I was telling you about, with the woman that was protecting and then she's going to get back in. The voice I heard, that was the EVP. It was so cool.
Oh, wow.
And then a lot of people I find that are more intuitive. They call themselves intuitives. They'll hear what they're saying, but it'll be in their own voice rather than the spirit's voice. So it's all different. It's totally individual, I think.
Very neat.
I'm not very good. I don't think I'm the strongest in intuitive, but I'm pretty good and pretty well endowed in the empath. That's for sure.
Okay, how about this one? Our readings in stone? If you pick something up that you're going to see that's going to happen in the future, is that set in stone, or is that something that you can change?
No, not set in stone. Yeah, I believe if I do get future, I usually focus on the now, but I'll get future stuff, and then I always make sure somebody knows that. For me, I think it's either A, you can change it, or B, to prepare for it. And you don't know which is which. That's where the fun part comes in. or we're not everybody is 100% either. It could just be something that we're interpreting as. So I always tell people, please, whatever you get from somebody about the future, just take it with a grain of salt. Don't just, swear by it. It's also your driver's seat. So that things can be changed. Are you there?
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm here.
All right.
Yeah, it sounded a little quiet there for a second, didn't it?
Yeah, I have somebody else calling in. Apparently they don't listen to Shadow Radio.
Oh boy.
Isn't that odd?
I know, but man, man, that really
That's so weird.
I know. It's just,
I thought everybody was. Even Singapore's listening. I don't understand.
Good heavens.
I'm going to have a talk with them crickets because they said they were going to advertise it, and word of mouth, It's just,
yeah. So here's a theory, too, that I have. Okay, so let's say I go to Justin, Justin, I'm having this difficult situation, and you go, well, this is what I see that's going to happen. And I go, okay, and let's say it totally didn't happen, like nothing near it. But because you told me that, it steered me on the path to really get something in order. So that doesn't mean that spirit wasn't working through you. Not that spirit said, or that the information was that you had to be wrong or anything like that. You fully were honest about that's what you got, but in turn it steered me on the direction I needed to be. So really, this isn't, I don't think of it as human logic. I think of it as way beyond. It's a huge picture.
Okay.
Very huge picture, usually.
Huge.
Right. Actually, this brings us up. You know what? It brings us up to our next little mini segment here, which is called "What Do You Believe?"
Very cool.
As you can tell, I love rock music, so...
Yes. You do.
Yes, he does.
Yes,
and
I
like all the good music, too, so...
Wait a minute, you're saying rock music isn't good when you say that.
What?
I like rock music and I love good music.
Oh, no, I like all music, but rock is my favorite.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Here's a good question. Can you be psychic and not know it?
Yeah, I think several people, well, not everybody, but I think several people are, and they don't know it. I mean, when I said not everybody, I think some people do realize that they are. So the other half is they don't realize it.
Like maybe they're experiencing some of their abilities, but they don't recognize it as like a psychic ability. They think like they're going nuts or something.
Totally. I'll speak from the empath point of view. When you're getting all of a sudden different emotions and nobody's there, and you have no reason, there was no certain thought that triggered it. Mm-hmm. What could it be? It does start to get really challenging and difficult. Say if you're going through a store and like all these different emotions are coming up, and so yeah, I have met a lot of people that say I don't know why my emotions are like all over the frickin' place. And then we start talking about, hey, did you experience this when you were a kid, or when somebody comes in and they're actually having an emotion that that you checked with them. So yeah, that's totally possible. A lot of people experience that.
Okay, we got a caller, area code 360. You're on the air.
Hey, Seth, it's Kirk.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Wow. This is like
we should
play Reunited, and it feels so good. That's the song we should have because, Kirk, tell them who you are.
Who are you, Kirk?
I'm just a human being. So my question is for you, Seth. How old were you? How old were you when you found out that you had this ability, and how did people react to you when you started telling them?
Wow, that's an awesome question. I think 3. I was in my crib, I remember, but I was old enough to stand up. So I think that's about 3. Mm-hmm. And then you said And what was the second part of the question? That was an awesome question.
How did people react when you started telling them that you had this ability?
Oh, I didn't know until I was in my late 20s, middle 20s. So they just thought I had problems with my emotions. And I did too. and I had a huge imagination. But because I did too, being young, I think that's one door to get in that realm. It's easy to relate to that realm then because the possibilities are endless. And then you can start to notice, like, self-awareness is really important because with the imagination, you can kind of tell that you're steering what's going on. But when it's psychic information, it is just allowing. The dogs agree.
Wait, hold on.
Better put me on mute, Justin.
Hold on. Hold on.
Let the dogs out! Let the dogs out!
Quiet.
Let the dogs out!
Justin was ready. Were you waiting for this whole time?
Yes. When these dogs like to come and make an appearance every once in a while, so I made that just for them.
That is cool. That was brilliant.
Yes, Kristen. The show has gone to the dogs. You're right. Sorry about that. There were probably
sorry,
Kurt.
Sorry, Kurt.
All right, I'll catch up with you later, buddy.
All right, take care, man.
You too.
It's a good friend.
We've had a couple of questions in chat. Let me see. Let me scroll back up here. Ron,
did I answer that question that Kirk answered? Yeah, I think I got it all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry for that interruption. But Ron asked, does Seth have any of the TV psychic medium celebs that he feels is pretty much aligned with his views?
These questions are amazing tonight.
Yeah.
They're really good. Okay, let's see.
It's too bad our ratings suck. Anyway, sorry about that. Go on.
We're working on
tonight,
that.
Justin.
We're working on that, yeah. I'm trying to say, I think a little bit of elements of a few views. See, I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know a lot of their views.
Right.
So, because I've seen them, but I haven't. I'm really not the most avid reader in the world, so I don't know a lot of their views. So I don't know if I can really answer that correctly.
Well, I think you would have to meet with them personally and get to know them on a personal level and see exactly how they work.
But styles-wise, I could probably relate a little bit with Lisa Williams and Teresa. Because I have fun.
Right, and what you see, I mean, and all of these paranormal shows and psychic shows on TV, I mean, just because you see it like that on TV doesn't mean that that's exactly how it is. There are definitely a lot of things that you probably don't see. And,
but in the public view, I would have to say those two as far as that I know. That it's close to my style. John Edwards a little bit, but he's pretty serious. I have a good time with the spirits. Yeah, and the people. Never a dull moment. So.
Right. Let's see. Here's. You know what?
Tell you something? I gotta tell you something too.
Go ahead.
This just in. So, all right. So we all know what it's like to get EVPs on investigations, correct?
Yep.
I had no idea that would happen. I don't know why I didn't think about it, but when people started to record my sessions in my office, that happens there too. I don't know why I wouldn't have thought of that. But in one case, and I got her permission to be able to talk about this, of course, no names or anything, but there were two spirits, and this was a really sad story. This guy, it was about drugs, he killed this woman. So he is at her house, does that, goes to pick up the woman's husband, or boyfriend, I can't remember which at the time. We'll say husband. Goes pick him up, takes him for a haircut, go get something to eat, and I was getting all this too, and she was confirming it all. I said, okay, then he did this, and he did this, and then I saw him drive to the house, and they both went in, and he was panicking because she wasn't answering the phone. So he goes in, sees his girlfriend or wife, and the guy shoots him. So
Oh.
he was apprehended. He's in prison for jail the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And here this couple was in my office, and one's on one side, one's on another side, and they're effing you and F you and this and F you and that to each other. They're arguing, and just like they did in life. It was like Sid and Nancy of Sex Pistols was in my office. Like, okay, and I'm repeating this. Well, eventually, we talked them through it, and they crossed together. They embraced and they crossed. So before that, though, they're saying all that swear words, and that client called me back like the day after. She goes, I listened to the whole thing, and I was hearing voices say F you.
Oh.
That was right before I said, repeated it. So, and then there was another client that called and said, I've heard all these, the voices. It was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I don't know why I didn't think it wouldn't be. I'm
Oh man, that's
cool.
That's awesome. It was like the spirits went to go see their shrink, and you were their shrink.
That's kind of what it is. It's like paranormal counseling, what we call it. That's pretty much what it is. It's just relating to them on that level so that you can sort of help them see how they can drop it, and then they see the rest. There's been times where the light would show up, they'd start to see it, they would start having conversation with their loved ones, and I step back, and Kristen would say, what's going on? I said, I don't know, they're talking. So my job is done at that point. I'm done. I'm ready to go have some pancakes.
Right.
We're done. I said pancakes for a reason.
Okay.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was getting really tired. And the UVP session took a turn to, do you like pancakes? And I wasn't thinking. And because I knew at one point the investigators might bring that up in the chat room, so to just beat them, beat them at their own game. They tease me. They tease me about that still. Pancakes. Do you like pancakes?
Elaine
I don't
says
know what I
every
was
time
thinking.
she eats them, she thinks of you.
Oh, wonderful. And then she sent me this horrifying picture of pancakes with fangs. Remember that? Because you saw that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yep.
Oh, I love
pancakes.
You don't show them the picture then, because it'll get you off of pancakes and onto waffles real quick.
I like pancakes with chocolate chips on them. They're really good.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a real good one. Have you
I don't
had
really
a case
eat
of that, though? Have you been 3 or 4 in the morning and you start to go a little loopy on investigations? Start asking questions. You're like, why did I ask that?
Yeah, you get slap happy or whatever.
Yeah. Then you know it's time to pack it up.
Yeah.
All right, let's go pack it up. Yeah.
We're making the audience hungry.
Oh, yeah. We love Mexican. That's one of our trademark foods.
This is why everybody hates our show. I love food. I talk about food all the time.
Oh.
They're all getting off the computer and going to Waffle House or something.
The awful waffle, yep.
We got Sherry's here. We're a big supporter of Sherry's. White Light is.
Ah, okay, very good.
Do you have that where you are? Do you have a
No, I
Sherry's,
don't believe we do.
Not by
you have Annie's? Annie's?
No.
That was another one, no? It's a pie place, but it's a restaurant at the same time.
We got a Baker Square.
Baker Square, kind of like that. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Baker Square and Applebee's.
Oh, okay.
We have
the Applebee's out here.
Yeah, Denny's or IHOP.
Did you now when you were on your investigations, did you always have a certain place that you guys would go after?
Well, we did investigate. We do investigations all over the place, so it's whatever's nearby.
Okay.
We'll go and we'll eat different things. One of my favorite places to go is called Round the Clock. I love it because they're open round the clock.
It was a clever name.
They really got good burgers there. So.
Love it. Did everybody in the chat room leave, or are they still there?
Oh, they're still there.
Uh-oh.
Free pie, hence the name, yeah. We still have coupons.
Oh, good, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have somebody that works for Sherry, so we have an in.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
Kirk had asked, have you ever had a case that you couldn't get the spirits to cross over where
Yes.
they're supposed to go? Okay.
Yes, I'm trying to think. Well, let's see. So I'm thinking one in particular, no more than one, that there was a spirit that wasn't ready, that wasn't finished processing, for whatever reason, didn't want to go, and they weren't causing any harm, so it was no problems. It was just more, see, then, well, that's what we call a resolve, because sometimes it's just more, it's an education as well for the clients. So, how to set boundaries, or, hey, the spirit, really wants to stay, and they're like, no problem, So, and then a lot of times we've been having cases that people have a lot of abilities, and that was one of the questions about, what if you don't know? And that happens to be, like, there was this one case, I would call this guy a portal, because his mind was so fast, and they were just really drawn to him. So he's still working on learning how his abilities work and setting boundaries, too. So it's a lot of the education. It's not just the crossing or the counseling or what have you. So, yeah, there have been times. So, all right, so I don't always go into this part. We don't ever force anything out. If there is something, though, that's being really harmful, let's see, I'm trying to think of an example. Oh, let's see, we've had a lot of some people were scratched, pushed down, feeling like they were pushed down the stairs. That particular guy he crossed. I'm trying to think. Well, there are cases where they're still causing harm, they refuse to go, and that's when we bring in our spirit guides. We ask them to help, and some of us work with archangels to please remove this negative energy or entity, and please, take them to a safe place. The person, because so some people are way against that. You don't have anything forced out. They were here first, whatever the reason. But if somebody's getting hurt and that's their space and they have to live and they can't afford any place else to live, and this does, and if it is for the greatest good, then I don't see the problem in it. You know what I'm saying? If we're asking for the greatest good and asking for spiritual help for that thing to be removed and taken to a safe place and no one will get harmed by it, then I do it. But the first and foremost, I work with the earthbounds. But there are times where I'll get a very unruly earthbound that refuses, or sometimes what I feel is non-human, that is not benevolent.
Ooh.
So,
yeah, we know what you're talking about there.
Yeah. Yeah. But we don't ever cross. I can't body slam anything out of there. I'm in skin. I'm in flesh. Well, but I do have friends that can. I mean, our team works with with light beings that help when asked. So yeah, that's
very good. Very, very good. Elaine had a question earlier, and I believe it was, excuse me, I've lost my train of thought. Do spirits tend to gravitate towards people with mental health issues?
It sure does seem like it. Of course, I'm not clinical. I had this reading once with the person wanted to see if I saw the same things that his sister was seeing, and she was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And I saw this. Yeah, and I saw this guy, and I remember describing him, and he was just taunting the heck out of her. And I can't remember what they were, but I was saying the exact same words I was hearing. And he looked at me like dumbfounded. He said, "That sounds exactly like my brother-in-law who passed away." So it's very possible that is what's happening. Is that
and because they're in a weaker state? Are they in a weaker state and more prone to things coming in and then misdiagnosed?
I think so in many cases. I mean, I'm not clinical or anything like that, but from my spiritual point of view, I can see what they see sometimes.
Okay.
when I look.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think there is something to that. And I do think there's something to negative influences on people that are vulnerable from that side. That's what I believe. So I think it's really important for us to work on raising our vibration the highest as possible, and being who we truly are, like our higher selves, becoming that as best we can, because that in itself is a daily protection.
Sure. Oh, sure. Right. You're just better prepared to take on what comes at you.
Or not even be attracted. They wouldn't even be attracted. Because I used to have so many problems with the negative when I was growing up. And then when I learned how to raise my vibration and how to, I became a lot more self-aware, and I knew I had tools on how to deal with difficult emotions, really intense ones, be able to let go of them and more observe rather than become them. Then I don't have that problem. Every once in a while I have somebody come at me in a case, but I don't feel anything. You know, it's like, okay, thanks. So, you know,
they've clarified here for me. They want to know if the mediums have been misdiagnosed as schizophrenic and possibly medicated as that, rather than being classified as psychic. I think. I
can't speak for our mediums. I don't think they have had anything. I have been diagnosed with emotional dysregulation ever since I was younger, because I couldn't figure out what it was, and I didn't pass the bipolar test. I didn't fit in that. I didn't fit in schizophrenia. I didn't fit in all the little nice boxes. So it was more a case of that. And
you just had
when
to go
I did
through the
learn,
process.
right, and then when I learned how to deal with my emotions and how to rethink, how to change my tracks of thinking, then that pretty much it got a lot better. I still deal with anxiety. I still deal with some of those things, and not to the intense degree I did as younger. So, which is awesome, because that's what I do with people in readings and earthbounds. I'm able to reach them at that level because I'm familiar with it, and then how to get out of it.
That's good. I'm glad you learned all that stuff. You were able to transition and figure out what was going on and strengthen yourself against it all.
Yeah, that's why I think it's really important too, when we're having a really hard time and say we lose a job and it feels like the end of the world, that it's just another door opening, basically. It's just like, wow, okay, because if you look, you know, your next 2 years, maybe you ended up finally doing what you really wanted to do, that if you would have stayed at the other job, you would have never even had the opportunity. You wouldn't have looked. So it's the lemonade thing. making lemonade out of lemons or whatever.
Yep.
That's really important to do.
Jennifer Hoggard had a question for you.
She's from Black Wolf Paranormal.
Yes,
she was on your show. Hi.
Yeah.
She was on your show.
Hi, Jennifer.
With Colette.
I haven't seen Colette's name pop up, but she might be one of the listeners out there. But anyway, her question was, she knows meditation is important in developing one's psychic abilities. What else would you suggest?
Oh, that is really powerful. What else would I suggest? Allowing and just being aware of things that come in, I think and not editing. So if you're getting somebody on something, even if it sounds weird, like I got Barry Manilow in a reading, and I almost didn't say it.
Really?
Oh, we have tickets and we're going there next week. I'm like, oh. Wow.
Wow, yeah.
So the things that really seem odd that you would get when you're focusing on someone or something is probably right on. That's what I would say. So yeah, the allowing is really important. And meditation, yeah, I'm glad she brought that up, because that's a good one too.
Okay, ask you about the kayak. That's from Kristen.
This is what I almost didn't say too. It was so weird. Justin and Wendy, I kept, like, what would you do? So you keep seeing this lady with the mud, this vision, okay? And then right after you would see a skeleton. And then you would see a boat, and it would keep going over and over. And you're going to a case. How would that blend in at all? So I wrote it down, and I told Kristen, and I don't think I'm going to say it because we're at the case, and we're not seeing anything. We saw a skeleton hanging, but it was around Halloween. So like, okay, that's probably not it. So, and then she goes, just tell him. So I told him, and then he like looks at me, and he beelines over to the backyard, and we're all following him, hurrying up, and he pulls out this kayak that had a lady with mud and a skeleton.
Oh my gosh!
Like, whoa, okay. And it was exactly how I pictured it. And then, so I told him, and so then he goes, well, this must be cursed or something. I'm getting rid of this thing. I'm like, no, that's not why I got it. It was probably an identifier for him to know that we were real or something, but it wasn't cursed. But he didn't want it there, so he got rid of that.
Okay, guys, we got another caller. Caller, you're on the air.
How you doing, all right?
Hi.
Yeah,
Hello.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
How
you.
are you?
Yeah, I'm good, cheers. Yeah, I'm good. I'd like to share my ghost story with you.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a ghost story. I was a very young child. I was between 5 and 6 years old. And do you know the place called Butlins? It's like you're at Disney World, but we call it Butlins in the UK. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Well, what's your first name so we know how to address you?
Oh, my name's Derek.
Derek, great to meet you. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah, right. Well, let me tell you my story, right?
All right.
We was at Butlins, and I was very young. I was about 4, 5, 6 years old, around that age. And in the night, I used to wet the bed, so I wet my bed, I got out, I got in my sister's bed, I wet her bed, I got out, I got in my mum and dad's bed. You know how people wet the bed, don't they? And while I was in the bed, I fell asleep. And then there was this crumb on the side of the mattress, and I was rolling the crumb around in my finger, in my sleep, just rolling it round, just doing my thing. And then all of a sudden, it felt like a pair of tweezers had come in and took it. Like, gone. Like a pair of tweezers. Boom. It's like a surgical strike. And when I opened my eyes, I saw this little thing. It was about... Yeah, it was a little thing. Yeah, it was about 3 foot tall.
Okay.
It had clothes on, and being a child, I shit myself and I pulled the covers over my eyes, because I didn't want to see it. So I pulled the covers over my eyes, and I could hear it moving around the room, like tap 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 tap. I could hear it moving around the room, and I pulled up my covers just to see where it was and what it was doing, and it was stood right in front of me. It was this little thing, and it had, I don't know how to describe it. It was like a little goblin is the best way to describe it. It was like a little goblin.
Okay.
And, yeah, I know you don't, I know you're all ghosts and you're all supernatural things, but this was a physical thing that I saw right in front of me. It was a physical thing.
I see what you're saying.
It was
it was 3D. It was a 3D thing.
Yeah,
it was like you could touch it kind of thing. Okay.
I saw it. It was right in front of me.
What do you think it was?
I've got no idea what it was. I've got no idea. But not only
do you
that,
think it might have been E.T., a visitation?
No.
No? Okay.
No. Well, if it was, it scared... Well, it could have been, but if it was, it scared the shit out of me.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I'm telling you.
I think it would with anybody.
I'm telling you, boys, I swear down, I'm 37 years old, right? I don't lie about things. I saw that thing when I was a little boy. I saw it.
It could have been something interdimensional, too, that could create itself as a 3D image. That could just look like you're looking at a regular person. So it could be, I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it could be anything like that. So did you ever see it again?
No, I've never seen it again, no. I've always described it as a goblin.
Okay.
And It was.
And it could have been a goblin. It could have been that.
Do you know the haunted bed?
In England, do they talk about? Isn't there a rich history with goblins in England?
Oh yeah, there's there's a history here, but do you know how high a bed is? A double bed.
And it was just peeking up over, so you said it was about 3 feet, so it wasn't very tall.
The double bed, the bed was the height of its chin. That's how tall it. When I pulled out my, like to see, because I could hear it moving around my room. When I opened up, my covers to see where it was stood there right in front of me, and its head was about the height of the bed. So what's that? Maybe
well,
3.
I gotta tell you, this is the weird image I'm getting, and this is what I was talking about allowing and don't editing. But what I kept getting was so when I said extraterrestrial, that didn't feel right. Interdimensional felt right, and I keep seeing this huge mirror, like a really big dressing mirror. I don't know if you had one there that it could have maybe come through.
Well, tonight it was a holiday home. It was a rented apartment, as you would call it. It was somewhere that it was like a Butlins place where you move in.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Place for a couple of days and you're out.
Yeah.
But that night, I saw it and I heard it. Yeah, and it scared the shit out of me. And it scared the shit out of me. What up to this day as well? I'm 37 years old and it still scares me. That little thing that I saw.
I don't think it was out to hurt you. I think I keep getting a feeling of curiosity. That's what I feel. Like it was very curious as well.
Well, it didn't hurt me. It just looked at me.
Right.
Yeah.
What are your beliefs around things that maybe are interdimensional, that things that can manifest? Now, looking back, are you still in the fear with it, or are you more getting comfortable that maybe there are things out there, not necessarily to hurt us?
Oh, Seth, this guy, everybody in the chat room was telling me that this guy actually calls in to a bunch of different radio shows. So whatever you might have been picking up on was most likely him BSing all of us.
No.
But it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. He was just funny as hell. That's why everything he was saying was just hilarious. That's why.
The wedding in the bed, yeah. And I don't want to call him out, because what if I'm wrong? What if he was serious,
Well.
So. No, I see what you're saying, but in the moment.
Was he
in the
a
moment,
Skype caller?
I don't want to...
Was he what?
Did he call on Skype? Okay.
Yeah. He Skyped in.
You handled it very well. We all think that, Seth. You were doing good, and I'm going, oh, Lordy.
And there very well could be interdimensional things. I mean, he brings up a good case anyway, fake or not. There are sometimes people do see things like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, it's sad, though, because if he took away from callers that really have serious questions.
Right, yeah, yep.
I know, right when I went like that.
I know, I just stopped myself. I'm sorry, it's just whenever we get pranks, I got to hear them because sometimes they're just hilarious, all right? So it's whatever. Thank you for pranking us. That is actually pretty funny. It's just one piece of advice. Don't let your prank go for too long, because that's when people actually get mad. But I honestly cut you off just because I was like, all right, it's enough. It was funny. So
he was the yellow river caller. He was talking about IP freely.
Oh, brother.
That
Thanks,
was
Ron.
good.
Yeah. Oh well, it was a good laugh.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's get a couple. Seth, are you up to a couple readings right now, or like maybe
I don't know,
you can?
I'm kind of like, oh man, the last one. Because if he was real, I didn't want to,
Right.
I didn't want
just
to say, no, come on.
Yeah, right.
And then I got this thought, I should have just called him out on his shit.
Hey, it's all good. You know what? I'll tell you what. Let's move on to Tech Talk. We'll talk about different types of equipment and maybe some techniques. Do you have any techniques where you might try to use different types of paranormal equipment to sort of back up some of the stuff that you do with readings?
The recorder. Pretty much all I use, if I use equipment, is the recorder, digital recorder, or the EMF detector. Which this is how foreign this stuff was to us and myself. I was learning about EVPs, and I told my mediums about it. And they said, how do we obtain an EVP machine? That's how foreign this stuff was to us. So I like when you're talking about tech stuff, my jaw drop because I don't really know much yet.
It's okay. Actually, we got another caller.
Okay.
Let's see here. Area code 954. You're on the air.
Hi, Seth. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Todd, right?
Todd?
Hey, Todd.
Yeah.
Hi, Todd.
How are you?
Hey, could you turn down your computer a little bit because we're getting just a little bit of backbeat.
It's off. My computer's off.
Oh, okay.
I think I just hear a fan.
I don't know what fan you're hearing.
No.
I'm your fan, but you know.
So how are you?
Good. I was wondering what Seth, could read off of me. He helped. Actually, one night we were talking, and he wasn't, doing a reading or anything, and all of a sudden he said, did your mom pass away from heart, complications? And I was really taken back, and I said, yeah. And I said, how do you know? And he said, well, she just popped in. Long story short, he helped cross her, and it was a real event. I'm just thankful for that, and I was wondering if Seth saw anything, else for me.
All right. Well, I'm seeing a lot of changes come up for you. Okay, let me see here. The main thing though is the blocks that you could be having in yourself in order to go on to the next process though. I'm seeing them as kind of cement blocks. Let's see. I don't know what that interference is. That's weird. All right, let's see. Hold on. This is a little hard because I know things about you too, and I don't want it to be like my human mind. But so when I'm just focusing on the spiritual part, that vision of blocks is really pertinent. It's right there, and it has to do with things that you have not let go of in order to be able to go on to the next process in your life.
Right.
And I know that could sound broad to a lot of people listening, but you know pretty much for yourself that's going on for you, right?
Yeah. There was a bit of a dust up this past week, and I have a lot of stuff bottled in me, and I think
what I'm
that's
feeling
most
too
likely.
is I'm also feeling a temper tantrum going on, like the little Todd, if like we go in the little kid part. It's a stomping and it's a temper tantrum in a way. But however, when you're ready to go beyond that part, it's more like a directional signal. Like, okay, this particular thing didn't work, but look over there, because I think there's a whole new avenue you didn't even look at yet. And it's in like a different, it's not exactly what you thought. It's not in that type of industry that you thought. I'm seeing more of the written word, more of a book type.
Really?
Yeah, something to do with, scripting or something like that. Just totally different than what you wanted to do. And then when you get to the part where you're like, okay, you know what? that's okay. Everything's okay, and let all that heal around whatever happened, then you'll actually be able to start to see where your next one is, where the new pasture is, basically.
Well, it's funny is pretty much I've resigned myself to the fact to let go what the problems that were bothering me, were or are, and I'm trying to work my way through them right now. But also, a couple of people have suggested working on a couple of books with me, which is kind of ironic. You bring that up because there's one that I definitely want to get done. It was started with somebody, and it's a really cool project, and I want to see that through to fruition.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Interesting you say that.
It's a lot of letting go of old things.
Yeah,
it's kind of like taking inventory and go, you know what, I don't need that anymore. No matter what kind of emotion was around it or who was in the right or wrong, it's more like, nah, that one doesn't fit. I'm going to get a new pair of shoes now.
Yeah. I think my biggest problem is I've felt most of my life like even when I'm right, I'm wrong, and I get frustrated with that. And
like when you're told you're wrong, or do you feel you're wrong?
No. I feel like I'm in the right, and all of a sudden, it'll come to pass that, well, geez, he was right. That really did happen. He wasn't making it up, or it comes out that I was not wrong.
Okay.
And it's frustrating after the fact, to kind of, it's kind of like, well, geez, I told you, I was correct in what I was, feeling, and that's a little bit of what happened. But with with this book, with this writing stuff, I mean, that's absolutely fascinating.
On that.
Yeah. So anyway.
Okay,
well,
but the guides, wait a minute, the guides keep pointing me back into you, though. Not everything has done that yet. That has to do with you and who you are and the self-awareness that you're almost at, but some things you're denying. You're in denial about yourself, is what I'm being told. Don't shoot the messenger.
No, this is
just something to look at.
Can you ask them for a little bit more? Because
sure.
I'm not disagreeing at all. I wouldn't disagree.
Well, I said don't shoot the messenger because I'm like, I don't know if I'd want someone to say that to me and be happy about it on air. But let's see. So hang on a second. So I'm asking them for a little bit more information, and that's okay. I'm letting myself get this clearly. Hang on. It's the little boy, this temper tantrum. So we'll go back onto the wrong thing that, you knew you were right, and then you're told you're wrong. So it's still that stance like, hey, I was right, and it's still stuck in that same place of wanting that acknowledgement. Yet it's not going to come in that direction. So it's being peaceful with yourself on the inside and being able to just, all right, I'm just going to let this float away. Because what I see with you a lot in this, when I'm focusing, is that you're hanging on to things so much that they can't get out of your way to do the next thing. So
you're absolutely right.
So here's what I do that helps me. You take one piece of something that feels like crap, and you name it, like anger, and then or frustration, and then this is why I feel frustrated. And you give yourself some compassion about it, like, well, of course. And then you can imagine that as a balloon just floating up. So you have that frustration there, but it's not inside of you where you can't perform the next thing it is you need to do.
Very good, very good. And so far as I'm concerned, you're dead on. I sort of see the forest through the trees, but I still don't want to sometimes. And I know exactly what you're talking about. So,
well, they keep pointing back into you, buddy. They keep pointing back into you.
Yeah,
and I think you forget to do that. Look,
I'm my own worst enemy. I am.
Heal yourself from the inside.
Yeah. Seth, thanks you so much.
Thanks for being willing to have this on the air.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Todd.
Thank you for calling.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Right. You too.
Elaine has a question for you. She says,
Okay.
so what safety equipment does your team keep with you to deal with matters of this realm? And she says, no helping, Kristen. And how do you protect yourself psychically?
Because I was going to ask Kristen if it was a first aid kit and stuff like that. But she's talking about spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
That I can handle. I got this. Okay, so what I was talking about before is that there is a way to live a life where you're pretty much protected no matter what, as far as being self-aware and noticing things and being able to find out what the best solution is and how to counteract that or feel more comfortable. So let's see, when there is also, okay, when I was starting to realize more of what was going on, then the best things that help me spiritual protection-wise and what I suggest to other people is a lot of the white light bubble. They can add other colors. If somebody's a natural channel and they're just start learning how it is to cope with that or to shut that door when they don't want something in, there's fire imagery is really effective. Or just staying in your body and being grounded. That's huge. And the best protection ever that I found is the feeling of love throughout your entire body. Because I had a case with an entity that it doesn't happen often. It's really rare now, but I felt as if an entity jumped in, and Kristen was there, and she had an EMF detector that went all the way up on my stomach, and it shouldn't have done that, right? On a person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had just helped a spirit let go of their stuff, and they crossed. It was a woman. She felt she was held in by other entities. So once she crossed, they were pretty pissed. And it was said to be a speakeasy, and I saw them as mob guys. They closed in around. Yeah, they closed in around us. I felt it jump in. I'm like, something's in me. And I could still think. I could move. It wasn't like a full possession. I just knew he wasn't happy. So Aurora, one of our mediums, she put her back toward mine. She said there was just cold coming out. Kristen felt heat ripple from my stomach, and then the EMF detector went off. And later we found out that all the way across the room that we couldn't hear, the spirit box had at just that point said, what was it? Not help Seth, but something about I was in trouble or something. I forgot what it was. Something Seth. And they didn't realize what was going on. They're like, oh, okay. Just a voice on the spirit box. So anyway, so Aurora had said, emit love. And I'm like, duh, I totally forgot at that moment. So I thought of a mom, which brought the love into my body. He thought his mom, so he jumped out. And as soon as he did, the EMF detector went back to 0. So it's love. That kind of love that when Wendy, when you're petting your dogs, you feel that through your body. It's like that. It's like this pure love.
The mother's love for her child or vice versa.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, we got just about 12 minutes left. We have another caller I'm going to go ahead and put on, and then we're going to have to start wrapping up.
If he's going to start talking about leprechauns or goblins, though, I don't know if I want to go into this again.
Right, I'll cut them off if they're crazy. Right. Area code 317, you're on the air.
Hi, Seth. This is Amy.
Hi, Amy. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
We're not going to talk about goblins well, I guess if you do want to talk about goblins, leprechauns, I know you're real. I know you're real.
I heard they played a bad joke. That was bad.
Yeah. You're okay. You can do that. We can.
Okay. Well, my daughter did say she
you got a lot going on there today still.
Yeah.
You still got a lot going on.
Oh, it's kind of just, I don't know if it's the house for me, but.
Well, the guy, have you been filming the guy? There's a guy, behind you, taller than you.
Yes.
Dark hair.
Yeah.
Low voice, kind of like this, not quite Barry White. Hey, baby. A little bit higher than that.
That's who we call Mr. Tree, yes.
Oh, okay. Hey, that'd be funny to be haunted by Barry White.
Yeah, that would be. Be sexy, baby. Yes, it's kind of crazy around here. More so with my energies in the house, but yeah, it kind of mimics me sometimes.
Okay, so let's see. So do you have a question? Because I don't want to get off base here.
Well, I've been going through a lot of major changes, and
is it okay to say what I get?
Yes.
On the air? So I'm not seeing a boyfriend. Is that one of the changes?
That's one that's coming up, maybe.
Okay, because it's distant. I didn't think he was there anymore.
Yeah.
That's how distant.
He's kind of shut down emotionally, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it doesn't feel like a relationship at all to me.
No, I don't think it is.
All right. All right. So what do you think? What direction do you want me to go?
Yeah. I've been getting a lot of messages, and I'm really not, and a lot of opportunities and changes have been coming my way, and I'm not really sure which direction to go with it.
Okay. Well, I believe I heard a guide say that you do. There's the one in particular that doesn't seem at your reach is at your reach, kind of thing.
Okay.
You know what that one is?
I think it's doing healing.
That's what I should have just come out and say it. I saw like Reiki. I saw like the hands-on more so.
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine has a lot of health issues, and I've been trying to help them through it. But I've only had one atonement. And I think, and I'm kind of wanting an answer to this question. I've been having tremors. I know it has a lot to do with my energies, and what I'm wondering if if it's because I need a second atonement, or if there's a bigger issue going on.
Okay, so when you said that too, I started to find out like dizzy.
Yeah.
I've been feeling like you got to sit down a lot.
Yeah.
Kind of out of breath, or feeling really tired too.
Yes, really dropped down. Yeah.
Like I want to do a lot of stuff, but I just don't have the energy, kind of thing.
Yes, It
feels like something's off balance for sure. I venture to say physically. Have you? I would suggest maybe checking out with a doctor first.
Okay.
And also, because I'm looking around, I'm not seeing you eat real unhealthy. I'm seeing you drink water. Is that true?
Yes, I've been drinking a lot of water, lemon water too.
Oh, good. Yeah, good. And I'm also seeing that you are trying to make strides, but also this could have to do with emotional as well. I mean, mixed in.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Even if it's a homeopathic doctor, just somebody to maybe check out all the levels. Something, blood, check your blood. Things like that. Wouldn't hurt.
Right, yeah.
So, because I'm not a doctor, I can't say for sure, but I just have a feeling it has something to do, with that would help.
Okay.
Also, to get through this emotional hump and don't put too much stuff on yourself. Don't put too much pressure on yourself at this point, because there is a lot going on the other side with you. Like, not on the other side. Well, yeah, both sides. The relationship, the way it is, and plus you have a lot of spirits there still.
Oh, yes, yes. It's been so bad that last night I couldn't even sleep because I just kept shaking the bed, and I was like, leave me alone.
Have you been working on the boundaries?
I've tried, but one of them, I think it's a small child that's here. My daughter keeps talking to somebody, and I kind of think that, like, I got poked in the ear the other day, like if somebody were to give you a wet willy, that kind of poke in the middle of the night.
How about try this? How about try opening up a light in your house? I keep feeling to suggest to you to open up on your ceiling in the living room. I'm just having it open, and then just with the intent that if anybody wants some help, this is an option.
Huh.
I don't know why I'm suggesting this. Just I had to suggest it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
this is an option for you.
If a spirit does not believe that it is dead, is it possible that they not believe in the paranormal?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Tree, I think, has told me several times to quit messing with that stuff because he don't want it in his house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I thought that rather funny, but I wasn't sure.
That is hilarious. Yeah. They say the darndest things sometimes, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told somebody, do you know, gently say, do you know you passed on? And he goes, no shit. So yeah, that. But yeah,
funny.
it sounds like Mr. Tree doesn't, and I don't think it'd be a problem if you just let him know that he's in a different state now. That his body, he's no longer in his body. He's free. And does he really want to stay in this house if he's free? You know, it's just kind of relating to him. You know, that with reality.
Yeah. I've tried asking him, but I don't think he's not like the kind of guy that wants to talk about that stuff. He's like, I'll leave it
It's
alone.
important for him to know that it's your house, though.
Yeah.
I do believe that's important. Some would disagree with me, but I believe that it's important for people to be able to know exactly what's going on. I'd want to know. If I was passed on, I want to know. You know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to know, Wendy?
I would want to know, definitely.
What about you, Justin?
Whatever.
He's just gonna hang out.
Back. I'm pretty laid back. Actually, you know what? We got about 4 minutes left. We're gonna go ahead and do a few promotional plugs here before we sign off. Seth, do you have? Seth, are you on the chat room? Can you see the chat?
No, I can't.
Okay.
I can go on there though.
Well, you know what? I just wanted you to, or Wendy, if somebody could post a link to Seth's paranormal group. And also, don't forget to check out the Ghost Girls Facebook page. They are our official sponsors for Shadow Radio Wednesdays. And then please don't forget to check out our Facebook, Shadow Radio Wednesdays, and click like. And then, of course, Shadow Chasers Investigations, which is my paranormal group. Seth, if there's anything else that you would like to add?
Into the Light is coming up May 19th. There's a net radio show that we're going to talk about how to get in touch with abilities and everything, all the topics around it, spiritual topics.
Yep, and Kristen posted the links. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you very much for doing that. Also, we have another show May 10th on Shadow Radio Wednesdays. Wendy, you want to tell us about it?
Well, it won't be on a Wednesday that time. It'll be May 10th, which is a Friday, and it'll be on 10 o'clock Central, which would be 8 o'clock like Seth's time, and 11 o'clock Todd's time. And, yeah, we'll be joining Shar of Freaks and her friend Kelly. Oh, gosh, I forget which one Kelly is with. They're going back to Villisca Axe House. Now, I had met Shar up there last August at the Villisca Axe House and did an overnight investigation with them, which was really, really exciting.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I'd love to hear about that.
I think it'll be exciting again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 10th, it'll be pretty cool. It's going to be very interesting. I love hearing live investigations from there. So it's definitely interesting.
Oh, definitely.
It was really cool to talk to you. I've talked to you both on Facebook and heard your show. Thank you so much for asking me to be on and having this conversation tonight with me.
Oh, thank you for coming on.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back anytime you like, anytime you get bored, and we'll be haunting your shows. You can be certain of that.
Yeah, you got to call with an English accent talking about a goblin? I think that would be funny.
Now, so
I don't know. They were talking about brownies and pancakes, and I thought, well, brownies don't make pancakes. They're just little cleaning sprites, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to go wet some beds.
All right.
There you go. Go wet some beds.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
go wet your sister's bed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They're about to cut us off. So
say hi to Jill.
Thank you.
I will.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for everybody for calling in. Thank you, Seth. Thank you for all of our listeners and everybody in chat. Please catch Seth's show, and don't forget to check us out next Wednesday and May 10th, Friday, with Freak Paranormal. So thank you all, and have a great night.